Hello again, manga fans. I know last week's anime was a little spicy, a little out there, so I figured this week I'd choose something way more wholesome. Today's show is 2016's ReLIFE. It's based on a web manga and has also been made into, you guessed it, a stage play, and also a live-action movie. I haven't seen the movie, but it seems to be streaming for free on the YouTubes, so I might have to check that out someday. ReLIFE is yet another high school anime, but one with a little bit of a twist. Protagonist Arata Kaizeki is 27 years old. He's a classic anime NEET, the acronym indicating that he's not in education, employment, or training. He has a college degree, but he left his first post-college job after only 3 months. Since then, he's been unable to find full-time employment. He works a series of lame part-time jobs and relies on his family for rent money. One night, after going out drinking with his friends and lying to them about the job he doesn't actually have, Arata meets up with a strange man in an alley who offers him drugs. Now, take it easy, I told you this anime is wholesome. This nice man, Ryo Yoake, works for the ReLIFE Foundation. ReLIFE exists to help people like Arata, people who have had difficulty getting started in life and might benefit from an experimental second chance. The second chance, and this is where the science fiction aspect of the show comes in, involves taking a special pill that the Foundation has developed. This pill will make Arata look like he's 17 years old again. For 1 year, Arata will be a high school student. The Foundation will take care of his enrollment paperwork, set him up in an apartment, and provide for his living expenses. The goal is for NEETs like Arata to see their lives from a new perspective, form new relationships, and hopefully work through whatever issues have been holding them back in their real adult life. At the end of the year, if he successfully completes the program, the Foundation will help Arata secure a good, full-time job. With no other prospects, and enticed by at least a year on someone else's dime, Arata accepts this offer. And here's where the show becomes something like a standard high school shenanigan anime, with the twist that our protagonist is actually a 27-year-old young adult going through these high school shenanigans for a second time. It shares some DNA with the adult-kid body swap movies of the 80s and 90s, but not as wacky. Arata fails exams, has awkward interactions with fellow students, that sort of thing. He gets caught with a pack of cigarettes in his backpack because he forgets that kids like him aren't allowed to smoke. He throws his back out in gym class because, while he may look 17, he's really a decrepit old man of 27. Over the course of the show, he does form real friendships with some of his classmates and struggles when he learns that, at the end of the year, the ReLIFE Foundation will perform some scientific mumbo-jumbo to make everyone he met forget that he even existed. We learn more about his backstory and why he left that first job so quickly. We see him use his mature perspective to help his friends navigate these vicissitudes of adolescence. The soundtrack of the show is kind of unusual. The incidental music is provided by a solo piano playing repeated, angular motifs with little to no harmony. It can be a bit unsettling, but it backs up the feeling of out-of-placeness that Arata is experiencing. It seemed to have drawn very mixed reactions from anime fans, but I kind of like it. Another unique musical feature is that the ending song is different for each episode. I think that these are existing J-pop songs, presumably taken from Arata's extensive collection of now-vintage minidiscs. Time for a few criticisms. Yes, the premise is ridiculous and falls apart under even brief examination, but that's just the price of admission for a show like this. It's necessary to just accept it and move on. The first season ends without a real ending. It seemed to just stop right in the middle of the story. That must have been very annoying to those who watched it in real time, but lucky for us, there's a 4-episode OVA that came out a couple years later and completes Arata's term as a high school. Much like with that other high school show I discussed, Toradora, those last 4 OVA episodes accelerate the pace, maybe, okay, definitely a bit too much. But at least we get an ending. Another drawback is that ReLIFE's animation is quite basic. It serves to tell the story, but nothing more. The animation gets somehow even more basic in the OVA, where background characters aren't even fully drawn in but are just shown as blank, immobile pink and blue silhouettes. Avant-garde stylistic choice or budgetary necessity? I'll let you be the judge. And maybe it's just because I'm a few years past 27 myself, but I didn't think that post-pill 17-year-old Arata looked all that distinct from pre-pill 27-year-old Arata. I would have liked to see more of an obvious change to really sell the transformation aspect. Overall, I'd say that ReLIFE is a very worthwhile way to spend your time. I watched the dubbed version, usually while folding laundry and doing other household chores that didn't demand too much of my attention, and it was perfect for that. So check out ReLIFE on Crunchyroll and tell me what you think of it. Make sure that you also watch the 4-episode OVA that Crunchyroll lists as a separate season. I'll have another anime for you next week, and another story that, we can only hope, also includes some high school shenanigans.